Hi everybody, it's Kathy here and I am playing along with Christy's Beautiful Lives 30 Days of Sketches, and it is day 11 and day 11 is my sketch. So this is a good one. I'm created this sketch and this is what I'm going to put into clay today. I am using the amazing Patchwork Roses from Uniquely Creative. This is just gorgeous, this paper, and it is perfect for this layout. I knew when I did this sketch this was the paper that I was going to use for this layout, and I love how it turns out. I will be fussy cutting some of those roses out. I will use that as my top piece, but I am using the grid paper at the bottom. So just like my sketch, I am having a pink grid paper in the base, and then I'm using this darker blue to tear the top corner. And what I'm doing is I'm double tearing it, so I'm using the same guideline to tear down to create the under piece for this corner. And using Victorian Velvet, I am using it to distress edge my papers because it's a soft pink and I just like the colour that it blends with. I'm going to attach that underneath. I'm not putting it down on the paper yet because I need to work the whole layout before I can piece it all together, but I am preparing all of my torn pieces and you'll see that happening. The next part that I'm going to tear is this beautiful piece here. It is the quilt block, it's called, and I just love these little pieces with the roses, and I'm able to cut it across there. I don't need it that deep, but I'm going to turn it over and put the spotted side, the B side, as part of the torn pattern at the bottom. And I'm also using this other piece here, which I'm going to tear off multiple times because I'm using it to come in underneath those tears. But I also am using this paper to mat my photos because on my sketch I have the photos matted on two pieces of the torn paper, and so that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm just tearing off the edges as I have that torn bottom already done, and I'm doing both mats that way, and I just love the colours in this. It's going to be pretty. It just comes together so beautifully. These are, as I said, Uniquely Creative papers, and I'll put all the details down in the box below. They are Australian products and they're just beautiful quality. So I'm using the Victorian Velvet once again to ink up the edges because these are going to sit in underneath those torn pieces to build that layered torn effect that I had at the bottom of the sketch. Now, there have been lots of people playing along with Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days Sketches, and there have been some very, very amazing interpretations of my sketch, and I'm so thrilled that everybody played along. And I really do appreciate the people taking the time to include it on their videos and also to be sharing in Christy's Facebook page. I will put the links to all of those down below. Please go and check them out, leave them some love. They are doing a great job. This is a great series. If you haven't ever checked it out before, you really need to. Christy does a great 30 Days of Sketches 3 times a year, and we get to create using the talent of other people in the community. Sketches are a great way to kick off your scrapbooking, particularly if you're a bit stale or you've got into a slump. They're a great way to be kicking off that creativity that we all have within us. Otherwise we wouldn't be scrappers. So I'm just layering this up enough. I'm loving how this is all coming together. I just want to add in a little bit more in the torn paper. I just like the layers and the detail that adds to the layout. Now this top one will tuck in underneath that corner, of course, as per the sketch, and I like that all the colours are complementary. That sometimes works by using a full set from the same, and this is what I've done here. Other times I mix and match my papers according to the colours, but today I am actually using all the papers from the same paper range. So I've just marked off where they are sitting, and that is because on my sketch I have the splatters, which you can see, and I will come back and do more at the end because I need a different one for that. But for the lines, now this is really interesting. When I first drew the sketch, I imagined that they were squares underneath the frame. And then as I've gone and I've watched lots of people interpreting different sketches, I thought, well, you know, it doesn't actually have to be that. It can be something else. And so I'm going to actually stitch my lines. So I'm using this fantastic stitch guide tool from MK at Some Assemblage Required. I'll put the details down below. Like, this tool is amazing. I love it. I do like to do some hand stitching, but I love this. This stretches me to go beyond a chain stitch or just a running stitch. So thanks, MK. It is a fantastic product. I love it. I've got both rulers and I just think they're amazing. So using my brown thread here, I am going to use this, I don't even know the name of this stitch. I should know the name of it, but I don't. And I'm going to do that as one of my lines. The other line that I'm going to put in, and you'll see it now, is that I did a swirly running stitch line, and that too was on the second ruler that MK has with stitches as a stitching guide. So I've done one in the brown and I've done one in the white, and that's picking up the colours of the photo and the papers. Now, just to turn this a little bit more shabby and a little bit more feminine, I'm adding in some lace, and that's going to be my final layer for the tearing, and that's because I want it to just have that little bit of a softer touch, because it is a bit of a heritage type photo display. It is of my daughter at the Pioneer Village. She was at one of the households and took the photos of the equipment and furniture and so forth. She really, really feels like she should have been born and lived in that era. That's what she feels comfortable with. It's a bit of a dream for her. She wants to have a barn condominium, and I'm sure that when she does that, it will have heritage and antiques in it. That's what she will have, that country feel, that heritage feel. So I've just added in the lace. I'm now putting down my strips here that you can see to build the layers as per the layout. I have that corner piece as well that's got lace on it as well, and I'm putting that over to the top left, and as you can see, it's just coming together so pretty. Now, I have already put my photos onto those torn mats that you saw me do, and I'm just going to lay them up. And they do go over my lines because my photos are a little bit bigger than what I did intend originally, but that's what happens when you find the photos that you want to use. Sometimes they are of a different size, and that's okay, and that's the whole purpose of sketches. They're just kickboards or starting points for you to create your layout. Now, I fussy cut these roses out of that paper that I showed you at the very beginning, and I'm just tucking them in under the photos here where I had the foliage on the sketch, and then I'm just extending them with the little fussy cut elements out of that paper. And I'm just loving how this is coming together with all those leaves extending up and down. I haven't gone broad, I've gone narrow. I originally did cut out extra roses because I wasn't sure how they were going to come together, but off screen I've just adhered everything down. Now I need to use some washi tape because that was part of the sketch, and I have got this beautiful washi tape here, and I was just experimenting which one was best. The pink blended in too nicely, so I've got this leaf washi tape which is the similar colours to the layout, and that was a tube of washi that I purchased, and it is now finally being used. So I'm just finishing off with those extra bigger splats that you saw in the sketch. There were the softer splatters of ink, and now I have the bigger ones, which I am using the Dina Wakley Gilt, and it's in the gold. Now, some of it, I don't know, for some reason this one, I love it. It's a great gold, but the actual thing itself is a bit difficult to work with. I find it hard to pick it up and use. For some reason, when you shake it, it gets very airy and bubbly, and then it makes it really difficult to actually get any to use. So I finally get it to run with some big drops that you can see on the side. Over on top of that rose, you can see it, but then I noticed that it's running down the side of the container. So what I basically do is I'm just flopping the big blobs around that I wanted onto the layout so that you're getting that big splash of the gilt or the gold. And I love how this just finishes off this layout. So as I said, there are lots of people who are playing along with Christie's 30 Days of Sketches. Mine, of course, should have been day 11, and I'm late as usual. But unfortunately, that terrible thing called work, which we all need to make sure that we can maintain our hobby, gets in the way. And I've been very flat out with work. It's reporting period time, so lots of report reading. And unfortunately, crafting has to take a back seat. So here's my layout, my interpretation of my sketch. I love how this came together. I think it's very feminine. I think it's very soft. It does have that shabby feel. As I said, there is a full playlist link below for all the people that are playing, plus the link to Christie's Facebook page where you can go and check out what everyone has done. And trust me, there are some amazing interpretations of this sketch. I am really thrilled. Happy scrapping, everybody. Catch you in the next video. Here it is. See you real soon.